The Star of August is a famous Vietnamese film, considered a classic in the history of Vietnamese cinema. The film is set against the backdrop of the August Revolution in 1945, depicting the extreme poverty and hardship of the Vietnamese people under French colonial rule and Japanese fascism, particularly highlighting the horrific famine that claimed the lives of over 2 million Vietnamese. Let's watch the movie together. Vietnam, August 1945. Under the colonial rule of the French and Japanese fascists, the people had to perform hard labor, doing heavy work for wages that were insufficient for their survival. This is a coal mining factory where most of Vietnam's natural resources were exploited and sent to France and Japan. Here, women as well as men perform heavy labor and are treated like enslaved laborers. The man in the white suit is a Vietnamese, but he works as a lackey for the French, enjoying special privileges and high status. To do his job well, he constantly abuses his power to oppress the laborers, his own compatriots. The female worker had arrived early and was sitting outside, drinking water and waiting for her shift to start. However, he didn't think that way. He believed that she had snuck out to relax and gave her a few lashes. His job was to always find reasons to beat the workers, which made him feel powerful and ensured they feared him for that. These women, who shared the same suffering, loved each other very much. Seeing the injustice, they spoke up for her. Most of them had also endured such oppression.
Drink it, miss. You are on the next shift after me, so why didn't you argue? If you're shy, he will bully you again. If you don't give him money, he will hit you again. He hates and resents her. On the day she first came here, he tore her pants and pinned her down on the pile of coal. She threw coal into his eyes, and that's why he resents her, poor her. He threatens to fire me this time, along with 500 other workers, both men and women.
Doing heavy work and not earning enough to buy food, their clothes are full of patches, showing how extremely difficult their lives are, but they always strive to complete their work. They are truly strong women.
Enduring humiliation never brings peace, so this time I am not afraid anymore. If they take my livelihood, I will take it back. They threatened to fire me too, me too. They threatened to fire me too. So what are you going to do? Some male workers are inviting me after work. We will go to the coal warehouse to discuss a strike. Will you join me? Let me come along. Hey, in this friendly place I'll tell you. The other day my husband went to work at a restaurant on the street. He saw French and Japanese people fighting, with Vietnamese involved and many leaflets. Then there was a woman, a real woman, who stood up and called for expelling the French and Japanese. She had some people around her with guns to protect her.
After their shifts, they could meet and plan for the strike. This is new, a worker representing the female labor class in Vietnam during this period. She has a husband who is also involved in the Viet Minh organization.
This time they won't give in. We decided to extend the strike, brother. Yes, we must do it. Let us, the propaganda team, distribute leaflets throughout the factory. Nguyen, why do you look so worried? Mr. Ho was arrested. Your husband was arrested.
What a strong woman she was. When she heard that her husband had been arrested, which meant that he would have a very hard time surviving and coming back, she did not show any sadness, but only felt sorry for her husband. She realized one thing: under this regime, we were all basically imprisoned. The only difference was that we could still operate, while her husband, sadly, could no longer do so when the opportunity arose. Before knowing he would be arrested, her husband had proposed to his organization that his wife would take over his duties. Surprisingly, she agreed to carry on the revolutionary work in his place. Her first task was to approach the Hanoi area, as this base had just been compromised and many members of the organization had been arrested. She was very clever to think of disguising herself as an urban person passing through here, in order to discreetly gather information about the situation beforehand. She would have to meet Comrade T. This was a code name at the banyan tree at the entrance of Doi village at sunset. She arrived at the meeting point, but didn't see anyone. By chance, she encountered an old woman carrying a child who stumbled and fell. She rushed to help. In these dire circumstances where people were dying of hunger, the old woman was very fearful and pleaded with her not to steal the little rice she had just managed to obtain through great effort. She had to go and beg for just a few stalks of rice left on the field, about 500 square meters worth. It was all the rice she could get. Her family was truly pitiable. Almost all her children and grandchildren had died from starvation. The girl: "You're not from my village, are you?" Response: "Yes." She quickly claimed she was from a nearby village, coming here to find Comrade T to buy medicine for an illness, but sadly, the elderly woman said Comrade T had already passed away. His grave was just over there. The old woman advised the girl not to go to Comrade T's house anymore. She explained that a few days ago, government soldiers came to the village to arrest communists. Comrade T fled, but was shot and killed by them. There are still many soldiers lurking near Comrade T's house. The surroundings painted a truly grim picture, with many newly dug graves around. Before she could leave, she was caught by the soldiers who questioned her intentions. They were suspicious that she was looking for Comrade T. Using her eloquence, she improvised, "I'm just a seamstress for hire. I saw the old lady spill her rice, so I came to help. Here are the rice grains scattered around. The old lady just left."
Dạ, thưa thầy. Thầy khám nhanh cho nhà con còn đi ạ. Cụ tránh làng Liễu, hẹn con tối nay đến trần cho cụ cháu bông ạ. Thầy ạ, cháu mới cắt kéo cho team khách bên kia sông đấy mà. Đưa tay lên thẳng. Chồng mày đâu? Dạ, chồng cháu ở nhà. Chồng ở nhà, có mang sao lại phải nét đục hả? Thầy không thương, thầy có ở cảnh nghèo như con thầy mới hiểu. Nói xét, ngày ngày lặn lội đi câu thuê qua mấy con sông, không đến bụng nó sổ thai chứ còn gì. Các bác Tuần ơi, các bác cũng ở cảnh nghèo như em, nói hộ em một tiếng. Dạ thưa thầy ạ, chị này đúng là người đàn bà đi câu thuê đấy ạ. Tôi để tha cho nó.
The soldier said, then she was wrongly beaten by him. But his boss laughed and said, in this profession, you have to act like that to get the job done. They were Vietnamese people who were lackeys of the Japanese fascists and French colonialists. They always tried to oppress their own people just to get the rewards of the invaders. He was then angrily slapped in the face by his superior for losing a communist like New, the girl pretending to be a seamstress. They investigated her and found a record with numerous accusations of communist activities. Her husband was also a communist and had just been arrested. They realized she was not a minor figure.
Thấy chưa? Thôi, chừng phạt nó như vậy đủ rồi. Cô Kiều Trinh, cô ra có điện thoại gọi đi. Đúng, dạ. Lại đây. Tại sao anh lại để sống Thị Nhu? Dạ bẩm quan lớn, vì con còn mãi đuổi theo một con mồi khác. Dạ, tên này mới về hoạt động ở vùng chúng con. Trong khi tên hòa chồng Thị Nhu bị bắt, chính con đã bắn gục tên này. Dạ, tên nó là Kiên, em ruột bà Kiều Trinh đấy ạ. Sao? Em ruột bà Kiều Trinh? Dạ. Dạ, đây là bố đẻ của cả hai người. Kiên, cá ở trong bể thì bắt lúc nào cũng được. Tôi lại muốn anh bắt được chim ở trên trời như Thị Nhu kìa. Hả? Có phải không, cô Kiều Trinh? Vâng. Cô nghe rõ lời tôi vừa nói với công chứ? Vâng, rõ đấy ạ. Nhưng tại sao cô lại có vẻ bối rối thế? Vâng, quả là em đang bối rối đấy ạ. Cậu, đi ra. Thưa quan lớn, Sở Yên Đinh nhập ra lệnh cho ta phải tìm cho được Trung ương Cộng sản có liên hệ ở phụ cận Hà Nội. Thời hạn từ nay tới mùng 9 tháng 3, tức là còn 5 ngày nữa đấy ạ.
The Japanese Central Command ordered them to find the communist base in Hanoi within 5 days. The date was March 9th, 1945. That was also the day the Japanese Special Administrative Region was invited to Saigon. They were wondering why it was March 9th and not another day. Why didn't the Japanese commander call me, but called you? And this made them start to suspect each other.
Thôi được. Việc có đến mấy và thấy đánh vào chỗ hiểm thì cũng sẽ thành công. Đây, cô xem đây. Những phần tử trung kiên của Việt Minh Cộng sản đang chết đói. Đây, chúng đói đến mức độ không còn bám nổi vào cơ sở làng quê của bọn chúng. Đó. Đến vụ thu thập tạ này, hàng triệu dân quê và tàu thuyền sẽ mất hết trí khôn, sẽ mất hẳn hình người, và chúng sẽ chết. Chúng sẽ chết như một loài động vật cấp thấp vậy. Một, hai, trên một khoảnh đất quá nhỏ mà không cần lò thiêu người như kiểu. Đó. Phải hiểu như vậy. Và phải làm như vậy thì sẽ tìm được ra chỗ ở của Trung ương Cộng sản, sẽ bắt được Thị Nhu. Và khi bọn Cộng sản đã bị tiêu diệt rồi thì tất cả các bọn quay quắt khác định chống lại công việc của người Pháp ở xứ này đều tan hết. Có đúng không? Đó.
Yes, this is the average situation of all poor Vietnamese people during this period. In less than a year, more than 2 million Vietnamese people died of hunger. This is considered the most painful tragedy of this nation. And later, the Vietnamese government had to call for and give the slogan that the top priority task is to eradicate hunger, eradicate illiteracy first, and then the task of eradicating foreign invaders. Please watch part 2. Thank you.